Hey, welcome everybody to Bridging the Seen and Unseen. I'm your host. I'm Shane McLain. Gwen's in the background. But I'm glad all of you are here. I'm blessed to be here. I look forward to having tonight's guest. We actually had this guest last year sometime. And I'm sorry, God, but you're gonna see cats. Mo, get out. Um, but I had him last year, and it was a real good time last year. So he's from around my neck of the woods. You know, he's from around the same state that I'm from. But let's bring him in. Let's bring in Jason Newsom.
How you doing, man?
What's up, bud? How are you?
Doing pretty good, hanging around. Just enjoying a day off.
Yeah, I get it, man. Why don't you tell everybody just who you are and a little bit about yourself, bud?
Let's see, this is Jason Newman, and from South Carolina, like from near the Georgia line. Uh, been doing. I'm a paranormal investigator, and been doing that since probably about 16 years. So since I was 16, so probably almost the better part of 20, 25 years. Just recently, like as of yesterday, started a new side project of mine because I am part of a investigating team called Witch Division Paranormal Investigations, and recently had to take a step back because from I'm still part of the team and helping them, but just had to take a step back for personal and health reasons. So I started a side project called Beyond the Veil Paranormal Consulting. Pretty much going to be helping uh, any current teams, new teams, or any new coming individuals coming into the paranormal. If they need help with research or just have any questions, I'm there to help out in any way possible they need it.
And just that's very important. Especially when it comes because like a lot of people don't know the extensity behind what it is for like true research. A lot of people just think, oh, they get a bunch of fancy gadgets and, they go out to these haunted places and they just see if there's activity. But man, there's data. There's all kind of things that can be logged and things like that. So I commend you for doing that, man, because people need to have or be educated more, especially when it comes to paranormal, and it's not just some people do it, some people are in it just like little hobby here, little hobby there, but some people are into the paranormal where they go around and like I had a guy that was on here that he said, man, he goes, I'm gonna be honest with you. He said, I really don't even care, about all the activity that's around me. He goes, I care about data.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that's I've really never heard anybody say that, because like, you would think that if you go paranormal investigating that you want some kind of activity and to hear somebody say, and this guy's part of a huge team. He's part of a huge team, been around for almost 30 years. And he says, man, he goes, I don't even worry about if I have, activity or not, whether it be knocks or anything, or he goes, I collect data. And I'm like, wow. And he said it's so important to do that because say somebody asked me, Have you ever been here? What was your experiences there? And then he said that he can go back in to any date or wherever he was and tell them about the data from that area so they have a better idea about where they are.
Yeah, because it's definitely a lot more than what you see on YouTube and on TV. Because all you see on there is pretty much the shortened version of actually what went on. They don't see all the hours of silence, the hours of just sitting around. Then after the investigation, the hours of looking through the evidence and then just looking through everything. So, I'm here, like I said, I'm just here to uh, help them at least understand what it's like to actually go out and be on these investigations, and because from and it's different from location to location too, and or if you do like one location and you go back like 2 or 3 times, there's there's a good chance that one out of those 3 times you'll get something, and then the other 2 times get nothing.
You know what else I found too? You and I are from South Carolina, and it would seem like we would have access to a lot more areas, to investigate, but it's really not that easy around here, man.
Right? Yeah. Like that's what I noticed. Like most of the places that do report to have activity, you have to. Most importantly, like this is what pretty much with all locations, you have to get permission to go there to stay overnight or whatever. But there's like I say, and then there are some locations that are few and far between that you could actually go there without permission. Like uh, just a day trip to the woods, you just stumble upon something. That's
Yeah,
about the closest you can get without getting permission to just taking a hike through the woods.
yeah. And there are those around here, man. I can't name the number of times I've gone just kind of like walking through the woods and come across in the middle of the woods, like an old rundown, foundation of a church or a cemetery or something like that out there. I've seen those in the middle of nowhere. But like I said, they're not always posted. You're not gonna say
Right.
you're not gonna see like, oh, here's a haunted area right here. You know, Sometimes you got to go find them yourself. And
Yeah.
I know that your team used to, would do that too.
Yeah.
To
Yeah. Like for us, our best investigations are the ones that were stumbled upon. Like we were here a story, and then they would tell us where it is, and then yeah, just like to me, those are the best ones. The ones you just happen to stumble upon like accidentally or just by hearing word of mouth. Those have always been the best investigations. Now, like I've had a few personally. Well, before joining Witch Division, uh, to where I had a couple of instances, but that's totally different. That's a whole new story right there. A whole different day right there. That's like a whole. That's yeah. That's the whole different story right there.
yeah, I get it. Well, what's some of your what's tell about something that went on with you, man, like as far as investigating wise, like what was one of your best investigations?
One of my best investigations was there's a family house that I lived in Chester with my brother-in-law and my sister. It was actually my brother-in-law's family house. It was in his house for it was in his family for about 150, 160 years. And Jay, who was Jay and Harmony, who were there.
He's
And
on. I saw him messaging. I saw him messaging down there. I saw him. What's up, James?
And so there's that is an old farmhouse. So we had the upstairs, which is pretty much a big hallway with 4 rooms, and the side that I was on, the far back room, had activity, and let's see, Jay has set up a kind of like a rampart like trap to where like almost like for good 2 hours it was just staying lit, and all you can see is this figure standing in the window from outside, like standing there just looking at us like, what are you doing here, And then I would actually went to sit in that room later on towards the end of the investigation, and it just seemed like like I went in afterwards after everything had calmed down, and you can still feel like the kind of heaviness, like still feel the heaviness of that person being in there. So it was. Then we had one little a few instances just throughout the night, but that was the biggest ones. Just seeing that person in the window.
So where was that?
That was in Chester, South Carolina.
Chester,
yeah.
Chester, South Carolina.
Yeah. But
so all of you there?
Yeah, it was me.
Parents and all of them.
Yeah. It was me, Jay and Harmony Harris, and a few others from the team I was on before joining Witch Division.
I used to. Jay, the Harrisons, man, they used to post like a bunch of videos and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I don't see.
Well, we've been on our last big investigation together was back in October. And with everybody's work schedule, we've been kind of on a bit of a hiatus, but we do plan on picking back up here pretty soon. So
yeah, I think that's awesome, man. I think it's have you guys got to be able to collab with any other teams here or
we've been trying to like I said, just with work schedule and everything, it just hasn't been able to pop off yet, but we're definitely looking into doing collabs with anybody and everybody that's wanting to do it.
Yeah. I think I think the more, I think, when people talk about like unity and stuff like that, I think that's a big part of it, when you collab with people, because you're showing them that, it doesn't matter who they are, where they're from, what they do, how much they know or anything like that, that you're interested in just, collabing with them and having them around, and seeing if you guys can go to a place where there is some activity behind there.
Yeah.
I think it's very important to do that.
And I'm willing to work with a team that does investigations differently than us, so that way we can learn from them and they can learn from us. And I had pretty much 2 different styles of investigating. And to me, that's the best way to learn, because they may do something that we don't, and we do something that they don't, and we may like it and then use it on our next investigation.
Yeah, I don't really get a chance to do like a whole. See, I'm sorry, man, but my cat, he likes to press on my face and stuff.
Yeah, it's fine.
I don't get a chance. I don't really get a chance to do any like locations or anything because of the the residentials that I do. I still work cases, I still work
Yeah.
residentials. There are some big differences of what we have going on though, because I'm a Knights Templar. I'm a Knights Templar there. I'm also an Archbishop with Sovereign Ecclesiastical Order of the Non-Choirs. Um, and we work cases through our church and through our paranormal team. We still help families. We still go in, do clearing, cleansings. We teach teams about grounding protection, things of that nature. We still do the same thing that we did over a year and some ago, but we've got more people, and I'm actually not only teaching, but I'm teaching spiritual warfare classes. Um, I'm I'm training people in ministry, to where they can come with us to do what we do. But other than that, man, we're just having, we're having a good time, and just,
Yeah.
just enjoying each other. So with this consulting team that you guys have, with this consulting, I mean, do you plan on keeping this, or is it something that's maybe temporary for a little while?
I do plan on keeping it. It's in its testing phase right now. Like I said, I just started this like last night, so I do plan on keeping it. So that way, if like if we happen to take another uh, hiatus, got something to fall back on to keep us in the to keep us in the paranormal, just in case life happens. So it's just another avenue for us to stay in the paranormal, like just to help out others. So
Do you do you guys do you guys get together a lot, or
not uh not
not
lately.
you used to?
Yeah, used to. It's just like I said, with work and everything, it's just kind of hard to get things scheduled. So
Oh yeah, I understand that. I understand that. I'd still like to get together with you guys, and come up and do something, because I know in the northern part, there's some really cool places up there, man.
oh yeah,
I've read about houses. Like there's a house in particular that's up there that's been empty for years, and they can't seem to find anybody to occupy the house, because every time they've had somebody move in or a family move in, within a month they move out because of what's going on in the house.
and I'll be definitely down to help out with that.
That's
So
what I mean. That's what I mean.
yeah,
That's me too. To go in and do a proper clearing and cleansing of there. To help. But I mean that, from what I understand, it's interesting because like teams that have gone in, they've gone in like they've gone and they've had, and I saw a film with the activity, and you can clearly see there chairs getting thrown across, cabinets slamming open. I mean, there is definitely a not so happy kind of spirit
right.
in the house, and it could be some angry old man, and they're just kind of showing his tail, you
Yeah,
know.
like not happy people are staying in this house.
Yeah, yeah, because People don't understand that about South Carolina, man. People are finicky about their property, man.
Oh yes, oh yes. And people will stay behind long after they're gone and be like, "Why are they here?" So I'm just gonna.
Yeah, yeah. And then people come in and they like try to do changes to the house. They try to do upgrades or cut trees down. I know of a team that, well, not a team. I know of a family that had a team come out because they were cutting some trees down around the edge of their property.
Yeah,
But there was a certain tree there that was used back in the day for that old family and stuff like that that used to live there, where they used to do like, I don't know, some kind of witchcraft, some kind of
yeah,
anything. But as soon as they tried to cut that tree down, they started having such bad activity in the house that they ended up leaving the house too.
yeah. And that's got me thinking because the people who bought my brother-in-law's family house in Chester happened to be they happened to work in the construction business, and the house definitely needed some work on. So it's got me wondering like what's going on now with them working on it with the previous activity that was already in the house.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, so listen. Let me ask you. When did you first get into the paranormal? And when you first got into it, what experiences did you have with the paranormal?
For me, it was back in high school. I was about 15, 16 years old, and I was a bit of a night owl at that night owl at the time. So I was usually the last one to go to bed, be on the computer or watching TV. I was staying with my grandma at the time for high school, and uh, the foyer in our house. Let me preface this: the house that we lived in, she had just bought from an elderly man. His wife passed away in the house. So at night, uh, the the foyer had like granite like slates on the ground, so it would sound like uh, high heels like walking on the granite,
Wow.
walking in the foyer, and of course I'm popping up, thinking it's my grandma coming down, telling me to go to bed. But next thing you know, there's nobody there.
Yeah, that was in your grandparents' house.
No. Yeah, my grandmother's house. Yeah, like everybody was upstairs in bed. I was like, I'll be downstairs watching TV, and then like I said, it'd be like, what high like sound like high heels walking on the but that click sound like you
Yeah,
like
yeah.
high like high heels on granite, and then next thing you know, nobody there.
No,
Well,
yeah. That it's always crazy to me because like my very first experience was also at my grandparents' house. I was 10 years old. My grandfather had passed away, and he built this mirror on the inside of the foyer. And my grandmother and I were getting ready for church, and I was standing there like organizing my tie and doing stuff like that. And I looked up, and my grandfather was standing behind me with his hand on my shoulder. And I turned around, and he wasn't there. So that was the very first experience I ever had.
yeah,
Give it about a couple days later, and 6 o'clock in the morning, I hear water running. And I get up, and this is where my grandparents were sleeping separate rooms. My grandmother's room was right here, mine was right here, and my grandfather's was across the way. And I heard water coming down, and I went and I opened my grandfather's door, and steam was coming out of his bathroom. And I was like, what is going on here? You know, so I went and opened the door, couldn't hardly see anything because the water was so hot. So I cut the water off and everything. And then I turned around to leave the room, and everything hit me at once. Everything hit me because my grandfather was chief lieutenant for SLED. You know about SLED. He
Yeah.
was chief lieutenant. And he had a routine every single day. He would get up, fold the cover back on his bed. He would go to his closet, open his closet, pull a suit out, put the suit down on the bed, take his shoes out the bottom of the closet, put them right there where it, and then he would go into the bathroom and he would take a shower. And he had been dead now for, about a month or so. And this is 6 o'clock in the morning. And I'm standing there, and sure enough, when I turned around out the bathroom, the bed was unfolded, the closet was open, a suit was out, his shoes were down on the floor, the bathroom was the shower was on, and my grandmother heard the noise. And my grandmother is a die-hard Christian Baptist woman, and
Oh, yeah.
a lot of them are. And she thought that it was me playing those games. And I'm like, no, why would I come in here at 6 o'clock in the morning and do all this? And then she saw it and she stayed in there for about 15, 20 minutes. And you could just tell she was having a moment with my grandfather.
Yeah.
Right there. And that's the first time I ever had an experience. And I've been looking at the paranormal ever since. And I mean, man, I've had some experiences between negative entities, demons, demonic activity, malevolent energies, negative. I've seen black-eyed children. I mean, have you ever seen a black-eyed child?
Luckily, no, not
No.
yet. No, and it's not on my or as I call it, my paranormal checklist. That's not on it.
Yeah, you definitely like a lot of people. When they hear the term black-eyed children like that, they just think, oh, that's a child there with black eye, and they do have black eyes, they do,
And
but
it's the whole eye is black.
it's how they show up.
Mm-hmm.
And like with my experience, for instance, like my sister and I lived out in the country and down a dirt road that was 3 miles long. And we stayed on a property that was back there where it was the only house back there. The only house back there. And we were just moving in. We were just moving in, so we were thinking like, all right, this is cool. We'll put some stuff up. We'll stay up kind of late, tonight to go. And we were organizing some stuff around the house, and about 2:45, 2:50, something like that, we hear knocking at the back door. And I'm like, what would somebody be doing all the way back here at 2:45 in the morning? So I go into the kitchen, and there's that window right there where the sink is.
Mm-hmm.
The sink. And couldn't see anything. It was like real foggy. So I went to the door. I didn't open the door. I opened the window that was on the door. And man, let me tell you something, dude. There was this little girl standing there, She had a white t-shirt on. She had cut off shorts, like how us older folk used to wear it as kids, man. Like when your mom cut your
Yeah.
teeth off. She had cut off shorts on, and it was raining, like heavy raining. And she's standing there with long black hair, and she's looking down like this. And she looks up when I look out the window, and sure enough, that little girl had the blackest eyes I have ever seen. There were no white in her eyes. I saw the black in her eyes, and I turned around and I told my sister, I said, come here. I said, you've got to see this. You've got to see this. And my sister's like, what? What is it? What is it? What is it? And I'm looking, and she's still standing there. And I'm like, come here, quick, come here. Well, she comes over there real quick. And I open the window, gone. I'm looking out. I'm like, no way. There is no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. Because first of all, where would it, and that's another thing. She was barefooted. She was barefooted on our property. So we opened the back door finally when nobody was out there. Didn't see anybody. The wood lines were right there. Our yard was real big. It was one big property. We were looking for footprints. We were looking for everything. We saw nothing. Next day, we run into the landlord that was there. And I was like, have you ever had an issue with a little girl coming and knocking on the door? And he looked at me with this stone face. This is an old farmer guy now. And he said, you saw her too? And I'm like, yeah, but we just saw who? He said, back in the late 60s, 70s, a girl had been walking down that same road, and she got picked up, abducted by a guy that raped her, kidnapped her, and killed her on that road. And that little girl makes her presence known around that area. It's crazy, man.
Oh yeah, and I say that's how they get you. Is like, they come at the weirdest times, like I said, 2:45 in the morning, raining, knocking on the door, just hoping for someone to let them in.
There's a lot of energy when it comes to that too, and people don't understand that, man. Like people that have houses, man, that are built on top of limestone, and they have like water flowing underneath it or water flowing through it or something like that. Man, that's a conduit for paranormal activity.
I said, like the house in Chester, it's a big, like quartz and marble right underneath the property. And I remember this one time, I just got home from not just got home, it was like the morning after a house call I did. And I was just in my room sleeping, and the door was opposite of where my bed was, so I could see who, like, if anybody opens the door. Next thing I know, my dog's barking at the door, all because he saw a shadow figure open the door, peek in, and all I see is the head and the shoulders slightly slanted, like they're peeking in. Then as soon as I saw it, it ducked back out and shut the door. And of course, me being me, I got up, saw nobody was there, and my first question was to ask my brother-in-law, my sister, and my niece, did it? Of course, did any of y'all happen to come upstairs? And open my door, and like, no. And that's one thing. I didn't hear any footsteps, but me being me, I just had to check out. I had to check out, make sure it was. But yeah, that was just weird to me, just seeing. But the height of it was because there's a big door. Look at maybe 8-9 foot door. It was halfway between the door handle and the top of the door.
Wow.
So you know you're looking at maybe 7 foot ghost, maybe 7 foot shadow figure.
Yeah, that's just huge. Now I forgot that you guys in that division that you're in like that. I forgot that you guys that you guys used to do house calls too. How would you guys, like, if somebody will experience like negative energy, how would you guys channel that to get rid of it?
Well, first we mainly look to see if what's causing that feeling. So we try to first we try to see what's causing it, whether it be natural or not natural. And most of the time, we just find that it's like they're like by power lines, or their bedroom happens to be next to like their the AC unit or whatever, the power box. But
Well,
to do
you
that, we
don't everything like that first, but if they've got indefinite activity,
yeah.
like how do you guys help cleanse or
Okay.
get that out of the house?
First thing I use, like, we all use like sage. So we we would smudge, say like a little prayer. For me, I'm like, I'm kind of like Christian based myself, so I would say like Saint Michael's prayer, or and they would use their prayers that they and sayings that they would say that like help clear it out.
Because I know Harris has a different way.
He's got it like that. That's the best thing about it, is like I have my way, he has his way, and we don't overlap. It's like if it works, it works. If it doesn't, let's try a different way.
Yeah, of course. See, with mine and everything, when I go to, I keep it theological. I do everything theologically. I had a Indian chief on this show that was from South Carolina, and I asked him point blank. I said, if you're not Native American, should you be using sage the way that it's used today? And he said, absolutely not. He said, you could actually increase activity in someone's house if you're not Native American. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that either. But I never use sage. I never use sage. I use frankincense.
Right.
Frankincense was used thousands of years ago, even in the tabernacles. It was a pleasing smell to God. When God hovered across the top of the synagogue, it was a pleasing smell to him. It was laid at Jesus's feet, when he was born. So there is some symbolism behind it. And, of course, the holy water, holy oil, holy salt, Saint Benedict, like Saint Benedict, but I use a blackwood rosary. There's certain things that I do, and when I go into a house and it's like consumed with activity, every single wall, every single window, every single mirror, I close it. I said, I seal this wall with the sign of the cross and the blood of Jesus Christ. I seal the windows. And I say, I close all entryways, doorways, and portals. And I close off every single thing in the house. And I have had no responses back that it did not work.
Right.
But that's just, like I said, that's just, me. I can't name the number of teams that I have spoke to that choose to do residentials, to take on residential cases, and have really no way of helping the families. They go in, they get activity, they film, they do whatever they have to do, and then they just leave, and they leave whatever they stirred up there for that family. I have so many cases to where I've had to go in and fix what other teams have done. And I don't know if you've ever had to do that, but it does get frustrating, because if you're in the paranormal and you work in the paranormal team, you should have the wherewithal inside of you that if you do not have the proper precautions and techniques to use to help a family, you should never get into residential investigations.
Right. Yeah. Because did what you call pre-trial, not pre-trial. It was like a walkthrough investigation just to see if there was anything there with a couple other. This was outside of Witch Division, but with a couple other friends of mine who happened to just walking through, and so we, of course, it was just friendly spirits, the pretty much spirits of family, whatever. So nothing really too negative there, but they did have one concern about there. So luckily I had some salt that was blessed by a Catholic,
Priest.
Catholic priest, yes. So I had because he gave blessed some holy water, some rock salt, and I was like, since this one spirit concerns you, and if you want to contain it, here's some. So I just helped her out, gave her some of that salt that was blessed, and just put this in the doorway, so that way it doesn't. So that way it doesn't go where you want it to go. It just stays here.
Doorways, windows, things of that nature. Like my holy water that I use, it's from the Jordan River where Jesus was baptized. My holy oil that I use is frankincense oil that I use. And I use from Damascus. I use Jerusalem and Damascus holy salt. So I keep everything pretty theologically based, especially with my cleansing kit. People who have seen my cleansing kit, they see I put a video out. I've got everything. I'll show everything that I use. I don't hide anything. I don't really get in and talk about my cases that I have, but except for one. One of my cases that I had was in Bluffton, South Carolina, and it was a family there that was having some really crazy activity. Well, that show that's on, it's called My Haunted Neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
If you look on My Haunted Neighborhood, season 2, episode 2, and you'll see a Bluffton case, you'll actually see my client tell his story behind it. And you'll see my wife and I at the very end of it. We didn't really want to be that far into it, but we were into there because we had to do a serious clearing and cleansing of that house. But not only was he had shoes thrown at him, his daughter would have stuff in the shower. She would be in the shower and things would pick up and start throwing around and at her in the shower. The wife was getting touched. It was just a bunch of stuff going on there. And when I ran the spirit box in, I went to a certain area, and I kept getting through the spirit box. I kept getting like train, explosion, families. I would get I got the word Franklin, and then later on I got the word Henry, and things of that nature. And I had them all wrote down, and I got home and I started looking, and I put them all together, and I looked, and I was like, there's a train track like right behind his house, like a quarter of a mile away from his house. Well, I found out in 1973 there was a train going through there with a man named Franklin Henry that was on that train with 6 other firefighters that were on there. A gas explosion came through there and killed him at 28 years old. Killed him dead. And I've got a picture in my phone of Franklin Henry. And if you took that picture and you put it next to my client, they look alike. So he was living vicariously through my client because he lost his family. And he was, of course, stirring up activity in there. But we were actually able to help him move on and get out of there too. So, I mean, that's good. It's always good, man. It's always good to be able to help families and stuff. Do you know my dialysis center? I got a call from the manager of the dialysis center who was a skeptic. A guy committed suicide that went to that dialysis center, and they started an activity shortly after. I mean, like where people were getting touched, they were seeing black shadow figures. They were seeing people. They were seeing black shadow figures run across the hallways, run down the hallways. And they called me up one, and she was freaking out. She was McLain. She said, "Listen," she goes, I don't really believe in all this stuff, but it's happening here.
Yeah.
It's happening. So my wife and I actually had to go in and do a clearing and cleansing of my entire dialysis center. And not only that, man, but you talk about that shadow figure. My wife and I were sitting right here in a chair. The 2 nurses and the person that ran the place were sitting right next to us. And there was nobody else in the building. And we had cat balls that were sitting on top of the thing. They started going off just randomly, and they were just sitting. And we had the REM pod that was in the back, and a light was coming through the door, and right from that light, you see this black shadow figure stand up. Jason, that thing was probably 11 feet tall. It was probably 11 feet tall. All of us saw it. And we were like, and then we found out when I was doing the cleansing, I did every single chair that was in that place. And then I found out that the same chair that I sat in on Tuesdays and Thursdays, the guy that committed suicide sat there Monday and Wednesdays. And then we found it wasn't just him that committed suicide. His sister committed suicide. His
Yeah.
mother committed suicide. His father committed suicide. There was a generational just of just darkness
Oh yeah.
being over that. And that's how it was in that family, man. I mean, I don't know if you've ever dealt with anything like that, but that energy is extremely strong. And the reason why I say that is because I was in the chair with needles hooked up in my arm, and I dozed off for, it seemed like 10 seconds. And I woke up and I was having such a panic attack. And I couldn't stay on the machine. And I told the nurse, I said, look, y'all got to take me off here. Y'all got to take me off here right now. And I got off. I didn't stay for treatment, and then found out that that's the same chair that the guy sat in that committed suicide like that. Pretty crazy, huh?
Oh yeah.
So you got anything going on, man? You got anything going on as far as what you said? You guys haven't been doing the investigating here lately, but have you gotten any consulting work?
I said not yet. I'm still.
Bill,
I said I just started this created everything last night, so I'm in the process of promoting it, getting it out there, so that way people know. It's called Beyond the Veil Paranormal Consulting. Yeah, right now I'm just on Facebook with that, and
why don't you share that to Outer Realms? Share it to our Outer Realms page, and we'll help promote you guys too.
All right, hey, sounds good. And for Witch Division, you can find us on YouTube. See some of our old videos. You can catch us on Facebook and Instagram at Witch Division Paranormal, and I do have my own TikTok for Witch Division. It's called Witch Division _Rabbit. It's pretty much a bunch of folklore stories, scary short stories, and a bunch of what ifs. And they've got one too. Jane Harmony got one too. I think that's the same tag.
Do they still have their stuff up? Do they
everything's still up.
Very good.
And they just started posted recently again. So to me, that's a sign of good things happening. Like we started posting again on the Facebook page. So hopefully they'll lead into us doing some more stuff and getting some more content out there for y'all.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. That was the next thing I was gonna do is I was gonna get you to tell everybody, how to get a hold of you, where to find you guys, where to look out for you. I really do hope that you, Harris, all of them get back together and start putting more videos out.
Yeah, that's probably like once fall comes around, we'll probably be doing maybe hopefully if not September, maybe starting around October when the whole.
I don't blame you when this heat simmers down.
Yeah.
People don't understand that, man. Like I was talking to someone today and they were like, oh, this is my home away from home out here. And this is one of the people that are in our order. He said it was like 57 degrees there. And I'm like, yeah, right. Yeah, right. No, we're hitting like 95, 98 around here, and yeah. People don't understand how hot it is here in South Carolina, man.
Yeah, as the saying goes, it's not the heat that's going to get you; it's the humidity.
Yep, and mosquitoes.
Yeah, those two.
Yeah, that's the devil's bird. That's the devil's bird.
Oh yeah.
I don't like any of them things, man. Well, I tell you what, man. we got a few minutes there. Um, have you ever in South Carolina? I know it's going to be a random question. Have you ever seen a UFO?
No,
South
wait,
Carolina.
hold on. So might have saw something similar, like way like when I first moved to moved to Rock Hill. This was when I was actually actually looking for a team to join back in like '04, '05, around that area, that time frame. We were at a one of those roadside cemeteries that had like, and we happened to look. A couple of us happened to look across the street, across the like the South Carolina highway. I forgot which one it was. One of those back roads highways. And next thing we know, we saw this big, big flash of light in the sky, but that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we're talking about like in the country.
Oh,
Like,
I know. It lights up everything.
yeah, and like all we saw was this big flashlight, and then nothing afterwards. It just like it just disappeared. Didn't even leave a light trail or anything. It just came up and then
Yeah.
disappeared.
Yeah. My father and I used to live in this place called Linden Plantation, and his whole deal was like he got free rent there. Like when he cut the grass and did stuff like that, we stayed on property and everything, and it was a long road that went back to the property that was back there, and the mailbox was down there on the outside of the road, and we were standing out there, and he was checking the mail, and we just happened to look up, and there was a triangle shape, whatever it was, like didn't look like it was flying. It just kind of looked like it was just kind of floating, like it was there. And then we looked at each other and we're like this, and then man, that thing, I have never seen something move so fast in my life. And that's the only true experience that I've had or I've seen with them, but people have them. Well, Jason, it's about that time anyway, man. I want to thank you for coming on. Thanks for doing it. I know it was last minute and everything, but it was awesome having you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I hope to see more of Harris too. Harris, I know you're listening, man. What's up with the videos, man? Like I had seen so many of them things, and you were doing them. Hey, you can't just disappear like that and then expect somebody to be like, I know you're on here listening, so you better tighten up, man. You, Harmony, all them, you better tighten up. Get the videos rolling again. Jason, you too.
Yeah.
You get them in line, man. Get them in line.
I'll do what I can. I'll do what I can.
All right. Well, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you, and I hope the Witch Division does really well. And thanks for being an awesome guest, man. And I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
All right, sounds good. It was great to be on.
All right, brother. Well, that's Jason. Yep, he's great. He's great. He's got a lot of experience, when it comes to things like that. And you guys, if you guys are looking for a consulting team and things like that, if you're new into the paranormal, look people like that up, because they're always willing to help you. They're always willing to help you, whether they show you about equipment or show you about paperwork or show you how to keep data, show you how to keep anything like that. Just look them up, But I appreciate everybody that was on there. I thank all of you, and I look forward. I got a guest next week that I've had. I think we're going on around 6 or 7 for next week, and you guys are gonna love it, man. This guy that I'm gonna have on, you know, we put on the best show when we have it, and I can't wait to have him on. But you guys stay safe, be blessed always, and stay spooky, people. Peace.